Yeah, so things are happening around the world. Crazy, crazy things. Recently, I don't know if you guys heard about this Joseph. Is it Joseph Maponga?
Maponga, yeah.
The outspoken Pan African Zimbabwean man who is very kind of famous on social media. And what admire what happened to them in the Caribbean. I don't know if you guys
Yeah,
saw the
I've
videos
seen
they
it.
made
I've
together,
seen it.
lamenting on how it was difficult for them to. Guatemala was denied a visa to one of the Caribbean countries, I think Antigua or something, and Mapunga trying to leave Jamaica. One of the easiest and convenient routes he could use out was to go through Dominica, and there he was like deported back to Jamaica because he was missing something. And it's just kind of weird because it's not like he's even entering the country. He's just trying to transit and return back to his home country, Zimbabwe. And like in the video, he mentioned that he was made to buy 4 tickets, all went to waste. He was detained for 4 days, not allowed to, not a decent place was provided for him to even like sleep. But this is the generality of the story. But we're just trying to look here and see why this is happening amongst us blacks. Because truth be told, we already know that we are very disadvantaged when it comes to all these social issues and immigration issues and all that. But why is it that Africans, call it what you like, that's the truth. Why is it that Africans on the other side of the ocean, the Caribbean, some countries. So, if you guys have seen the video, let's try to go into it. Why do you think this is happening? We all thought that we're going back together, but now it kind of seems like we are going wider and wider apart with all some of these things happening.
The great Bob Nestor Marley said something. What did he say? He said, if you know your history, then you know where you're coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if you do, I mean, it goes like there's a flip side. If you do not know your history, then you don't know where you're coming from. So this idea, this notion being entertained by, I'm not gonna say like the entire Caribbean, right? It's gonna be some people in the Caribbean, whether in the government, whether like amongst the civil society or whatever it is. It's still very naive, very primitive, very backwards, and it has to be shunned. Because I mean, it doesn't even matter like being from the Caribbean or Africa or whatnot. I feel like discrimination should be what be opposed and rejected like every single place you find it, especially stereotyping. Because in this video, let's refer to this video in particular, right? So we do not really kind of like generalize everything. I feel like it's become one of those things where it's like you need to carry. I think Mapunga said this. You need to carry your credentials on your forehead, because once somebody knows you have a huge following, you with them, right?
Yeah,
automatically you get special treatment or preferential treatment. But first sight, right? First glance at you, you show your passport. You have an African passport. You look like Akon, right? Black as hell. We have to be very realistic. It's like, even if you're a little bit light skinned, you get a little bit of like, they get this American vibe. Oh, you're probably an American, right? They have that vibe. But if you're like a black African, there's always this, I do not even know what word to use, like discrimination. It's happened to all of us.
Prejudice. Like,
it is prejudice. It is prejudice.
And it's very backwards.
And there's one thing for me, this angle I'm coming from is that I don't know why we Africans have to carry this burden of trying to explain ourselves every time.
Yeah, I think that the answer to that is very easy. It's because we haven't sorted our own shit out.
Okay.
I get that. I totally agree. Agree.
When you say this treatment, what kind of treatment are you referring to?
Like this
okay,
this
so we gotta go back
story.
To the roots. Yeah. So why do you think when they see us with African passports, we get like rejected and like dejected and like it happened to me before. They pulled me outside of a queue. I dropped from the flight.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. We were all like, we were all in the queue. We were all lined up, and then they always walk through the line. And once they see you, boom.
Yeah, you did the first time, so you look very suspicious.
Exactly, because I think they have like the air flight manifesto. Right? So if they've seen your name, passport,
They already know
so they're already waiting for you. So once you get in there, they kind of like sideline you, and they're like, "Yeah, it's random." But usually, why does it have to be random?
I always have to
be
random.
Why do you call it random? So I feel like it's always associated with what? Economics. If you're coming from, one of those elite countries, so to speak,
even if you're poor as an individual,
exactly, first world country, as they say, right? Or you come from a place like South Africa, even though it's a developing country, or I don't even know what it's ranked, first or third, I don't even know what it is. But it's always like that. It's always about the class in which you categorized.
No, but okay, listen. Let me say
Once
this.
you're from a third world country, it's also another story.
You can choose to judge or separate us from that angle. That is your immigration law. That is what you want to carry. Where I have a problem is, you don't know me. Yeah? You don't know, I don't know you too. But the thing is, somebody will say, they kind of give this explanation. Oh, there is this black person who did this, and that is the reason why we are doing that. So flip the script, yeah? And then the African immigration decided that any national or any race, apart from our race, the way we be divided by race, apart from our race, or apart from you having an African passport, if you are coming in, we are going to judge you based on what your ancestors have done.
Yeah.
Or somebody else has done. Hold on.
But you're not.
I'm not.
Monga said the same thing. So I think it was Wode. He said the reason he was refused entry into Antigua,
there.
Because
I'm coming there. Maybe I've jumped the gun a little bit, but what I'm saying is, it's linked. Because from what our father said, yeah, he was told to book a ticket 4 times. And this is another thing that actually irks me or pisses me off. Let me use the word piss. They always want to look down upon us. Yeah. They always want to find something.
They're probably even doing it to see if you even have the money to buy the ticket. Just testing you.
But they always do that, saying we are poor, saying because you are coming from a poor country, saying this and that, and yet you pay the most expensive ticket for everything.
Yeah. When you do Western Union to the US, it's like $8.
Single thing an African would do is the most expensive.
Yeah.
And yet
that is how they keep us poor.
Okay, that's the goal. You've achieved your goal. You've achieved your goal. They think they've achieved their goal. So I'm just giving them their credit.
Okay, so yeah, you all are making good points. So far, we are making it kind of global.
Yeah.
Let's narrow it down to the Caribbean, like the specific video they were making. So what is the problem with the Caribbean? Some of the Caribbean
it has to do with I always use this word. They are mentally enslaved. If you're mentally enslaved, like you see your own fellow person and you don't even like to be around that person.
And they should even know the history better than us because they were the ones who.
We are not here to teach them their history. Yeah. They should have parents back home to tell them what they've been through, where they came from.
They look at the what you call geolocation,
what is there?
Location.
What is there?
I'm not talking about in terms of economics.
And so what again?
No, but I feel like because they're not located primarily on the African continent.
You don't need to.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's a lot of people look at it like, because come on, Jamaica is not in Africa. Let's be honest. But Bob Marley believed he was an African.
Exactly.
That was what they always associated themselves with.
Rita
Marley, Bob Marley's wife.
Yeah.
Where does he live now?
She settled in Ghana.
She settled in
Peter
Ghana.
Tosh. Peter Tosh said
that it doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're a black man,
you are African. Exactly.
Right? So the same thing, Buffalo Soldier, Drella Rasta. I mean,
there are so many
stolen from Africa, brought to
the thing America. Is, back to your question, to answer your question properly, it has to do with, you want to pick on someone. You've been picked on all your life. You feel you have an opportunity. Who do I pick on? Okay, they say Africans are like this, so let us pick on, because truth be told, without Africa, the world is not what it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I'll
take it from another angle. It's okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to go further. But what I mean is, these small, especially the Caribbean. I've heard a lot about the Dominican Republic.
Right.
I'm not the type that goes with hearsay and stuff. But there are so many evidences on the ground that says that they don't even love themselves. But this is what I'm saying. You have to be able to love yourself so much that you see your fellow black and you're like, that is me right there.
Right.
You understand? But they don't have it. They are lost souls.
Do we also think it's an issue of ignorance? Because Wadamaya's wife is also in Jamaica. She was trying to do her usual street interviews, and I saw one of her videos. She was speaking to a Jamaican lady. She was middle-aged woman, and she was like, she doesn't really like Africans, something like that, because we all do like voodoo and all that. That's clearly ignorance on one part. Secondly, if you look at the videos of people from Jamaica and other Caribbean countries who have visited Africa or Ghana, there's this guy who came to Ghana. He spent like 2 months, and everywhere he went, he said this is exactly how it is in Jamaica. The food, all this bowl fruit, bird loaf,
I understand what angle you're trying to come from, but the problem is like these are like isolated cases. These are some like
ignorance. When it comes to ignorance in every society, you find people like
that's
that.
what I'm saying. You're gonna find people who are like really like.
But when it's what they are doing at the borders, let's keep it
that
to
has
the
to do
borders.
with the laws, right?
It has to do with the
so
laws.
I'm coming to that. So my point is that if you talk about this YouTuber saying he loves everything, there are a lot of people who are connected, black, white, Caribbean, it doesn't really matter. But that's what I'm saying. There's gonna be a lot of people who are also kind of disconnecting. They hear all these things, they stereotyping, So back to the video in question, right? Maponga says what? They asked him to show his ID. Your national ID, right? And he's got 2 ID cards. One from South Africa, one from Zimbabwe. And what did they say?
They said no. This is not
That is what I'm saying.
No, that in itself, it's very disrespectful to the countries that he come from.
Yes.
Because you're trying to say this is not like, is it fake? Is it like
you haven't even verified it or
and
anything.
that's what I'm saying.
Who the hell are you to pick my ID and then you tell me it is fake?
That's what I'm saying. You take it, you go do whatever you gotta do with your research.
Go do your search.
And then you come back, hey, this came out fake. So, and then we're having a conversation, right?
Yeah.
But you just don't beat it out like, no, it's not an ID. What does that literally mean? So, like Maponga said, at the end of the day, if you have an American ID,
Canadian, European,
or
British,
that is what's considered as like an ID. Now, moving on to another thing. Like you were saying, like it comes from ignorance. I don't really think it's ignorance. I think it's just a matter of, like I say, you call it stigmatization. I think that's what stereotype is.
Stereotype,
Because when he was rejected, what did he say? He said the president himself. We're not talking about an ordinary person, not somebody from his cabinet. The president himself sent him what? Word saying, this happened because a week prior, there were 100 migrants from Africa that got returned back home. What's it got to do with him trying to enter a country legally with trying to go through the legal process? What does it have to do with him?
And that is what I was trying to say, that if we are going to be punished for somebody's action or inaction or action,
this is a very, very shameful thing to see coming from the leader of the country.
Exactly.
Because this shows that I do not want to generalize, but it shows that the entire country might be thinking this way. Black Africa, we're not holding whites responsible for everything that happened in the past. We should be
we've been talking about to move on. We've been talking about to move on.
So why are you saying there were 100 migrants who got returned home? So this is why we rejected your application. And meanwhile, hold on 1 second. The underlying word, you charged this person $150.
Okay, give my money back.
Which you did not refund because 100 migrants were trying to enter your country illegally a week ago. It's not because you don't have the qualification, not because you did not meet the criteria.
Basically because somebody came before you.
There were other Africans who were trying to get... It's the stupidest thing any leader can say.
And I keep going back. I said, why should we keep explaining or have to face the punishment of others? That is my point. Why? Okay, people came into your country. Are you telling me you don't have your fucking country people in other countries that are illegal?
But even
these are facts.
What reason have they even given for those migrants? Maybe they were even passing through. They were not.
Maybe they came to stay. It doesn't even matter.
It happens.
It happens. It's a thing in every single country.
There are Americans in this country.
Exactly.
that are doing illegal stuff, that are living here illegally. It happens
everywhere in
it's
the
not
world.
like there is one race that is 100% legal. None of their citizens or none of their people do.
For me, I believe that everywhere you find 2 or 3 people, or 2 or 4, 5 people coming from a different place, or more coming from a different place.
7, 8.
Yes. Things
9, 10.
good. You find good people and bad people, but your structures can protect the good ones and expose the bad ones.
Right.
And you move, but you don't use that. Oh, they came. 100 people came in, so anybody that is coming from that continent will have to suffer. That is wrong.
And it's particularly
it's
disturbing
just
when it involves like the Caribbean, because we.
That's why I said I've heard so many stories
about the Caribbean. Because I mean, we all know there are people from Jamaica and whatnot.
They ask so many silly questions.
For me personally, I do not care where you're from or where you think you are from or not from.
Yeah.
There's also been a debate about people talking about Ethiopians are they really Africans. I'm like, does it really matter?
It doesn't.
I don't care whether you.
Okay,
African or not.
if Ethiopia is not from Africa, they should leave Africa and go to the.
But that's what I'm saying. That's not really an issue. I don't really care where you think. If you think Jamaica is not part of Africa or Jamaicans are not Africans, who cares? I don't really care. At the end of the day, for me, sorry, it's all about criteria, right? It's an immigration service or immigration like front or center or desk.
Yeah.
So there's a criteria, right? You check this, check bank statement, blah blah blah. You qualify. It should be that simple. It should be based on the passport.
The explanation, is it the Prime Minister?
Prime Minister, yeah.
The explanation he gave is stupid.
But that's what I'm saying. That's
Extremely
Really
stupid. Because
in that,
you can say, listen, maybe they rejected you because, like, this is the truth. Most embassies have quotas. Yeah? Let's say a day, the number of visas they will issue. So let's say they are issuing about 50. And then you are part of 150 or 70. And then they issue the 50. Mistakenly, they don't also know who you are. You understand?
Yeah.
So, let's say you did not meet the 50. You were not part of the 50. It's okay. Where I have a problem is when they reject your visas, they don't give back your money. And that thing, we have to talk about it. And then, cool. Don't come and explain that because somebody I don't know from Adam
When to do something.
And you are punishing me for it.
When I have a genuine reason for applying
exactly.
for my...
Interesting thing, if you think about it, right? We're talking about Wode. This guy that's got over 1 million like subscribers, right?
A million
He's
and a half.
very famous. He's kind of like, he's doing his own thing. And if you have the time to take this guy's passport,
then you would know.
You could literally see how many countries this guy's traveled to.
And the kind of person he is.
But that's what I'm saying. So why would this guy come into Dominica?
Yeah.
And stay for what?
What is there?
Stay illegal.
I don't think
that's
this
what I'm
was
saying.
even Dominica. It was another country.
I think Antigua
yeah.
and Bermuda or something.
What is there? For me, those places.
No, but this comes down to criteria again. So if you have the time, you took this guy's document and you went through.
Yeah.
Then you kind of notice that, this guy's been doing a lot of travel. He's got a good, track record. So why not?
Someone like Wode, he doesn't even need his passport. Just he gives you his YouTube link and that's it.
But that's what I'm saying. So literally, this guy got rejected once they saw his application.
What about this? I want to ask you this question. What about this caveat? Yeah, look at somebody like Wode, and look at the following, and look at what he has been able to do for the African continent. By now, if not the African continent recognizing him, Ghana government should recognize him and say, listen, we appreciate the work you're doing. You're not doing it for only Ghana, but because of this, we can give you a certain pass, like a diplomatic passport. Because we have so-called corrupt ministers and whatever who have this diplomatic passport. So you can say, listen, because you are putting Ghana on the map, because you are putting Africa, exposing what we have to the world, how we are and stuff, we give you this diplomat, so that somebody like him, somebody will say, but then all these people, all these so-called celebs or social media, whatever, they should give them. But you have to pick what the person is doing in particular to give him that diplomatic passport.
For the way I said, he has even requested to meet the president of Ghana for 4 years now. He still hasn't been granted.
I think it goes. This probably goes beyond what the man, it transcends individualistic achievements and everything. But the most important thing is, look at the underlying factor, right? This prime minister came out to say that. I mean, coming from you could probably kind of make it up like, probably you did not meet one of the criteria that
Just give
the
an excuse.
servicemen-
or maybe
That's what
they
I'm
thought
saying.
you were one of the
But if you categorically state that because there were 100 migrants that were coming into your country, this is why
That's
it got
very
rejected.
unprofessional.
I do not get the connection.
Yeah.
And I feel like these kind of things should go viral so people can understand the mindsets of certain countries and certain people.
It would
Right.
take a
This is
long time.
2024.
It would take a long time before
And
this.
then let's it looks like we have spoken more on what about the Joseph Maponga? He attended a conference, some sort of conference or
You know, just a
convention,
transit.
and he was just transiting through because it was the easiest and cheapest and convenient. I think he said he was going through Dominica, then Brazil, then to Cuba, then something, because there's no direct flight from Africa to the Caribbean. You always have to go through the US or Canada, and you need to get a
Transit
visa,
visa,
and they will deny you. The other way is to go through that long route. When across the Atlantic, you could just go if there were direct flights. He's not even going into the Caribbean. He's already there, and he's leaving. So if someone comes to your house and you don't like him, and he's leaving, why should he even bother? Just let him go. You've intentionally caused him to buy 4 different tickets, to the extent that his ambassador in Cuba and wherever were calling to intervene before you could even deport him back to Jamaica. Not even you deporting somebody back into Jamaica, not even to his own country.
But why 4 days?
Because they kept saying he's missing this document, he's missing that, he's doing this.
No, but was
I
he going into that country?
It was just.
It was a transit. Why do you detain somebody for 4 days if it's not discrimination, stigmatization, stereotype? Why would you for just transiting? The least or the worst you could do. Return this person to wherever it's coming from, right? The next
and you already bought a ticket.
Just sit on your train and go. Sit in this chair.
Saying. So what could probably be the reason?
Put a security guy on him. Sit here. The next available plane or whatever, you are in. You're going.
But if the guy was like, I do not have money to buy my return ticket, that's a
different case.
Exactly,
yeah.
But he bought 4 different tickets.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, in the video, he said where he was sitting to a window or a door or something. It's like from here to that door, and right outside he could see vendors selling food.
Yeah.
They didn't provide him with any food, and they wouldn't even allow him to get to the door or window to even buy food for himself.
Yeah.
They didn't give him anything to sleep on. He was just sitting and sleeping on a bench.
Yeah.
So until they got calls from ambassadors and whatever telling the kind of person he was, and the best thing they could do was to deport him back to Jamaica, which is not his home country.
Yeah.
Go and start all over again because you didn't have some doubt. It's just ridiculous. So if these things are happening to us from other continents, I understand.
To people who are even a bit influential and they have a bit of a social status.
Exactly.
So think about the average guy here.
Me
The
and
average guy, maybe you. Not me. But imagine, right? Imagine the average guy who has no.
I would not even go there. I would not. Truth be told, yeah. Like I said, these small countries, like in the Caribbean, apart from Jamaica, I don't dream of going to any of those countries because I don't see what they have in Africa. What they have in that Caribbean countries that I don't have in Africa.
And that's a very sad thing to say because, we consider them as an extension of Africa.
We like our brothers.
Exactly.
My
So
lost brothers.
I'm
I'm going to visit. But then I always go with this principle. Man, if you don't love me, if you don't want to show me respect, I just stay in my one corner. I don't need your respect. I don't need your validation. I don't need your love. I love myself so much that I can do that for myself. So I will not go to that because of what I'm not going with hearsay. But I
if
don't.
You say you don't want to go, that's understandable, right? But think about somebody who wants to visit. They have no idea, or they don't have the experience that you have.
Then learn.
Right?
Go and listen to the video.
So all I'm saying is that there has to be a criteria that people have to meet. Just like anybody with an American passport, any other passport, right? You come in, you have to meet this. Once you check all these boxes, it should be fine. So we should not be having this conversation about not even wanting to go there, going there and everything.
Yeah.
But one thing I really want to say, which I feel like eludes a lot of people, which I feel like this is what the Prime Minister also did, right? They add to the stereotyping, they fuel the stigmatization, and then like other countries pick up on it. Because think about it. They say a lot of Africans, whether they do like illegal stuff, But why do I just want to make a point that not everybody who does something legal is out of their own free will. There is a lot of motivation, there's a lot of influence, right? Just like Wode or whatever, right? Sometimes you really need to get something done. You have everything they require of you,
and they still
turn you down. They still kind of like make you face some sort of like legal nonsense, and then people start doing what? Finding illegal channels to do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've seen it time. There are people who travel. I have people that we all know, right? They come in, legal status, everything is legal. They go to renew their visas, and what happens?
We won't give it to you, but
for no apparent reason.
And you give it to the next person behind me. So how do I feel?
Exactly.
You know.
So that's what I'm saying. So there's I cannot go into details because these are things that people tell you confidential, but it's like you come in like legally, you try and do everything legal, but it's like they find ways to just. It's almost like they want to get you out of the country. And they cannot do it like blatantly, so they just find a way
to block you.
To get you to do things illegal. And then they say, look, you see, we told you these are.
All right, so guys, good points there. I know we could go on and on and on, but we don't want to stay too long on this. But it's just unfortunate. I mean, brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, snap out of this nonsense. I mean,
sorry, but it's not just the Caribbean. Remember there was a doctor from Ghana one time. He wanted to go to Europe, Australia, whatever. The same thing. This guy was like a full-fledged doctor, right? He had the invitation. He had the financial background, financial status.
He has his family, he has kids,
and he had like a house.
You see, let me tell you,
he was still rejected.
But when you compare those, that's why I don't like comparisons and stuff. But when you compare the Australian one, you can say it is wrong. But it's different. You know why we are? No. Let me tell you why I'm hurt with the.
No, can you tell us what's different?
The Dominican Republic one. The reason why I'm hurt is like you said it. I'm going to visit a family. That is how I see them. You understand? Australia is. If I say different, like a Caucasian.
I don't want to cut you, but it's like you're not gonna visit a family. I mean, sorry, but. If family is like it has to be mutual. No. So if you don't see you as family, that's no. The point is you gotta treat people as humans.
No,
it has to be a level playing field.
Listen. I see you guys as family because first and foremost, when I see my image. That is what I mean by family.
That, but I'm just saying.
But when an Australian, apart from the indigenous Australian comes out, Australia, what we all know. You see a Caucasian, yeah. So that is what I'm saying. That is the difference, and that is it doesn't mean that the rule or their immigration policies are right. But when I'm going to let's say Kenya, and then I get to Kenya and they tell me to stand somewhere, and then they allow other people pass like that. And you treat me because I'm coming from Ghana. It hurts differently. That is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that I do get. But my point is that for me, just you have to treat people like humans.
This is obvious.
Like me or whether you're Caucasian, I don't think we have to kind of like
No,
it's a ceiling. It doesn't really matter whether Australian or Kenyan. The point is, if an Australian is walking to a Kenyan immigration, the same you know what I mean? The same validation, the same. We all have to go.
Why do we have borders anyway?
Well, that's a discussion for another day. But for me, we are from Ghana and we know how it is like. The way we've been brought up, our environment, how we receive foreigners and all that. It baffles us as to why someone would give you so much trouble just because you want to visit his country.
Not even visit, we are just passing through.
We can't get it because for us, anyone just comes in. You want to visit, fine, just come. What is so, as long as it is not universally claimed that you're a criminal or whatever. You have everything is normal with you. Just come. What is all these restrictions? So it's first of all very difficult for us to understand why someone would want to restrict you from going to their country, especially when we're talking about a place like the Caribbean.
But I think let me one more. I feel like restrictions are okay because there has to be restrictions if you do not check a certain box, right?
If you apply and you get rejected, you take it.
But that's what I'm saying. If there are like plausible, tangible reasons. Because at the end of the day, of course, there are gonna be people who are gonna try to do shady stuff. So that is, of course, you gotta get rejected. I understand that. But the fact that you're saying somebody did some stuff.
You are punishing me for somebody's stuff.
So why don't they just pick up the phone, call the president of our country, and tell him, yo, Tell your people nobody should attempt to come into my country, because you do not want people to apply. Do you know how long it takes to kind of put all these documents together? Bank statement, like work, you get stuff.
Your great grandma's ribs.
Exactly, right?
DNA sample.
And then you got to write application on top of that. You have to pay $150.
Yeah.
In this case, it was not even processed.
Yeah.
So what did you? Why did you keep the money?
Rejected. Like,
we don't want you in our country, but we want your money.
Money.
Your money is okay with us, but we just don't want you there.
just watch
Okay.
Just watch the video and leave your comments what you think about this whole thing that went on with Wode. I mean, and it sends a bad signal now, because the two people that they tampered with are some of the two most influential people in Africa.
That's why we need.
We need to expose them. We need to expose these people. These things must change, man.
Cake laws. We all belong to one earth. I want to go somewhere and relax, and you're telling me I can't get in because I don't have some stupid paper. What kind of
paperwork.
archaic thing is that? All right, guys. So we
go and do fishing.
So we have a lot of things to say, and I'm sure you also have many things to say. So just leave your opinions in the comment section. Let's get this discussion going. We as Africans have to liberate ourselves from all this nonsense. I mean, we're losing a lot of money, especially through visas. A clear example, what has just happened. $150 gone. Rejection, no tangible reason.
Yeah.
And then you can't appeal, you can't do anything. And this is the response the president comes to give you. All right, from DLS Wave here, signing out on a very sad note. Peace out.